Well, remember how we talked about the fact that we had theses, honors, masters, and PhDs, to lay the foundation of research for future students and others who are interested in Australian children's literature. Part of that is also having all the published articles that people write about Australian authors, illustrators, and whatever subjects they're interested in. So this is our reference collection. So we try to buy every Australian, well, it could be overseas as well, every book that's about Australian children's literature. We buy it and catalogue it. If it's possible, and if it's published overseas, I will write a letter and ask for a donation copy. And if we're lucky, we get donation copies. Publishers normally are donating their children's books, and if I spot one that is about it, I'd say about 95% of the time, they'll send me that one too, so that we have one of the best reference collections available. And there are many people who say, it's amazing what you have, because we've been collecting since the 70s when Australian children's books were taking off. Over here, what we have is the journals about Australian children's literature. So we have all full runs going back from the very earliest time. So if the journal started in 1957, like Reading Time did, all of these bound volumes are Reading Time from 1957 on. Or we would have all issues of Magpies or all issues of any journal, and normally those are donated to us. So that's a good way for us to collect all the reviews and articles. We also collect occasionally magazines from overseas, and that's the case with Hornbook magazine, because Hornbook reviews about 5 Australian books out of the numbers that they do every year. And to be included as a Hornbook review is superlative. So I want to be sure that we get every mention. If there's a mention of an article with an Australian author, we'll make sure that we have that in our research files. Now, there's always a lot of work and process materials, and for some people that's kind of a boring thing to think about. But it's important to know how we document things. So the first thing that happens is the publishers send their books automatically. I don't have to write to them and ask. They generally say, okay, where are the books that are going to the center, and they send them to me. So they arrive and they sit on a shelf, and then they get a donor plate that says Penguin Books donated this. And then it is up to me to write a thank you letter to say, Dear Penguin Books, this is an amazing collection of new books. You always outdo yourself. So I will always have a look at the collection of the latest collection and write them letters. I probably write a few hundred letters every year. Then once the letters are written and the books have been accessioned with their donor plate, they move over onto these shelves. And these shelves are organized by author. So sometimes there'll be the old books that we've gotten from Lifeline, or perhaps somebody's donated a book. And more often, it's the new books that have come in from the publishers, and they're waiting to be catalogued. There's a lot of books downstairs that the library has that they're working on, and we still have the people who are our volunteers who are working on the cataloguing too. And I think I mentioned earlier, we catalogued about 2,200 books this year, which is a lot of books. But of course, given that we're receiving that many, we're a little bit behind. So the whole purpose of what we're doing in here is keeping the books coming in, acknowledging the donations, making sure that we have all the review sources that are going to have articles and reviews, and all the book chapters and all the books and all the theses that are in another room, so that if somebody came here and they were interested in Margaret Wald as an author, we have everything. We have her papers, we have her manuscripts, we have all of her books, we have all of her translation, we have theses referring to her, and our reference books are going to be referring to her too. So this is what happens when a person discovers us through our fairly extensive website. They will get in touch and say, can I come and just sit for a while? And so I will book a room for them, set up what they need, put it on a trolley, and they happily work away for hours at the time. So we do have quite a number of people from around the world who do just that.